Hey travelers, welcome back to Laura's Travel Talk. Today, in our ongoing series of the 50 U.S. states, one a week, we're going to the Evergreen state, Washington. Washington is where I was born, so it's very near and dear to me. So sit back and enjoy while we look at the stunning offerings of Washington state, because I am telling you, it's got great cities, it's got beautiful towering mountains, forests, coastline. It's got a lot of stuff. So sit back and enjoy. Well, we're going to kick it off in Spokane. Spokane is where I was born. Why is it great? Well, it's known for its vibrant downtown, the beautiful riverfront park, which has the Spokane River and falls going through there. And it's got easy access to outdoor adventures. It's also the birthplace of Father's Day. Little known factoid. I would say there's some travel tips, like you can ride the Spokane Falls Sky Ride there, and you have views of one of the largest urban waterfalls in the U.S. And if you visit in spring, of course, the waterfalls are roaring because the snow is melting. But there's just a lot of places to go downtown. Look at that beautiful park down there. And I threw this in because I thought it was pretty cool, that radio flyer wagon. It's giant. But the wagon, now you see a kid going down the slide there. It's pretty cool. Anyway, get to Spokane. It's got a lot to offer. Our next stop in our top 8 places to see in Washington State is the North Cascades National Park. It's known as the American Alps. Is it any wonder why? Look at that. Really? Why is it great? Well, it's one of the most rugged and remote national parks with glacier-capped peaks like that. Turquoise lakes like that. Dense forests. I'm telling you, Washington State is beautiful. And a travel tip would be the park, it's really best viewed if you go in the summer because all the roads are open for sure. Look at that. It is beautiful in winter, though, if you can get up there. But I would say hike the Maple Pass Loop or take a scenic drive on the North Cascades Highway. And while you're up there, see about getting a little huckleberry jam. I'm your huckleberry. Well, our next stop is Leavenworth. Leavenworth is a Bavarian village in the Cascades, and I covered this when I did my Oktoberfest video, but Leavenworth is such a cool town. It's charming, Bavarian-themed town nestled in the mountains, and it's famous for its Christmas lighting festival and its Oktoberfest celebrations. Pretty cool. My travel tip would be visit in December for the famous Christmas lights. Look at this video. You can see little old Leavenworth down in there all lit up with Christmas lights. It's pretty cool. Or if you go in fall, you can go for Oktoberfest. Either way, you can't miss. But I would say if you're looking for a place to stay, you must stay at Bruner's Lodge. They have upscale log cabins. They have 5 different sizes with awesome accommodations, great appointments. Whether you're looking for a 4-bedroom place or an 8-bedroom place. Yeah, 8 bedrooms, double appliances in there. You can get a whole big family in there with 8 bedrooms. But I wanted to point it out a little bit. They belong to my cousin, but they are gorgeous. So get out to Bruner's Lodge. So before we get down to our next spot, I just wanted to remind you to leave me some comments about the video after you watch the whole thing, because Washington's a pretty cool state, and I am trying to grow my YouTube channel, so I appreciate all of you who subscribe and like, but the comments are really helpful as well, so keep those coming. And now our next stop, we're going to the San Juan Islands. Woohoo! San Juan Islands are gorgeous. Why? Well, it's an archipelago that is known for whale watching. Look at those guys on the little kayak with a whale right by them. Wow. And you can go kayaking, great kayaking trips out there. And charming little seaside towns. Orcas Island, San Juan Island, and Lopez Island are really the most popular. I would say visit in summer or spring for the best weather and whale watching opportunities. But if you're going at that time, book your ferry or your flight in advance so you can get the best deals and it's not packed. And get some oysters and clams while you're there if you like seafood. Yum, yum. Also, interesting fact is they do have bioluminescent tours out there. They're easiest to see on a dark night, where there's no moonlight out, and probably between June and September is your best chance to see it. It's the algae and the plankton that become bioluminescent. And there's, maybe a dozen places in the world where you can see this, but it's pretty cool. And they do night kayak tours so that you can view this. Pretty awesome. Get to the San Juan Islands. Our next stop is Olympic National Park. It's got rainforests to rugged coastlines. So the western part of Washington State has a completely different climate than the eastern part after you cross over the Cascade Mountains. When you're in the east, which was Spokane that we looked at, it is more like almost like the high desert look. And then on the west side of the Cascades, you have Seattle and the coastline over there. So you have more of the greenery and some of the mountainous areas that are just gorgeous to travel to. And in the middle of the state, we'll look at that in a second. So, the Olympic National Park. Why is it great? Well, it's one of the most diverse national parks in the U.S., and it features the rainforest. Look at this. Glacier-capped peaks. I mean, come on. And then you go out to the beach, the wild Pacific beaches. It's gorgeous. Travel tips? You should get out to the rainforest for lush, moss-covered trees, or head to Rialto Beach. You get dramatic sea stacks and tide pools, and get yourself some Dungeness crab. I am not playing. Get out to Olympic National Park. Well, our next stop is Mount Rainier National Park, the granddaddy of them all. Majestic volcano. Why is it great? Well, can you see the picture? I'm just saying. It dominates the skyline. Mount Rainier is 14,410 feet tall, and it's an active stratovolcano with wildflower meadows and glaciers. Oh, look at that little deer in the wildflowers. Stunning hiking trails. I mean, come on, if you're a hiker, does it get any better than that? And, if you visit in July or August, you get the peak wildflower blooms in either Paradise, this is Paradise, or Sunrise. Early mornings offer, of course, the best views and fewer crowds. And you get a lot of wild mountain berries up there, too. Beautiful. And our number one stop is none other than Seattle, the Emerald City. It is truly the Emerald City. It is so green. Love it. Why is it great? Well, it's known for its iconic skyline, waterfront views, and vibrant tech scene. So you got to go to the Space Needle. These people are up in that Space Needle. You should get down to Pike Place Market. Pike Place Market is fantastic, and they are famous for the guys in the market throwing the fishmongers over your head if you stand out there too close. It's kind of fun to watch them. I mean, those are big fish, and they're just hurling them back and forth to each other, packing them up so you can take them home. And then they also have the stunning Chihuly Garden and Glass. I cannot emphasize enough how beautiful the Chihuly Glass Museum is. I mean, look at these. I have some Chihuly art in my entryway in my home. I have 4 paintings. They're actually pictures on metal. But look at these. I mean, the colors are so vibrant. I just cannot get enough of it. I love Chihuly glass. Right there in Seattle. I hope you get a chance to get up there. I'd also say one of the travel tips is, ride the Seattle Great Wheel and ride it at sunset for amazing views. Or, you can take a ferry ride over to Bainbridge Island for a quick day trip. That's kind of fun. But of all things, when you're in Seattle, you got to get some Pacific Northwest salmon. It doesn't get any better than that. The flavor is delicious. And you can go to Ivar's right there on the pier. It's famous. It's been there. Pink Door. You can get cedar plank salmon, clams. Good fish up in the Pacific Northwest, folks. So before we hit our last stop, let's look at some sports real quick. Seattle has some great teams, and it is a great sports town. They really get behind their teams. First off, we have the Seattle Seahawks. That is a loud and passionate fan base, and they play at Lumen Field. They were established in 1974. They've had 3 Super Bowl appearances with 1 win in 2013. Next up in the MLB, we have the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners play at T-Mobile Park. They were established in 1977, and they have 0 appearances in the World Series. And then lastly, release the Kraken. They have a new NHL team in Seattle, the Kraken. They were established in 2021, just a couple years ago. So they have had 0 appearances in the Stanley Cup, but they're probably coming for it. So before we leave, I had to acknowledge little old Wenatchee, Washington. It is the apple capital of the world. When you have the Apple Valley there in the center of the state, and they have Apple Blossom Festival every year. I grew up going to Wenatchee every summer because most of my family lived there. Some now have dispersed and or passed on, but Washington has my heart because that's where I was born, and I still have a lot of family there, and I get up to Washington about once a year. But if you get up to Wenatchee during the apple blossom season, you'll see the beautiful trees. And Wenatchee has more than red delicious apples. They have Gala, they've got Granny Smith, they've got Brayburn, Jazz, Ambrosia. They've got a whole bunch of them. But my favorite is always going to be the red delicious. There's nothing better than biting into a red delicious apple or a Granny Smith up there to make pies with. Get yourself to Washington. It is beautiful. So I'll close off by saying thank you for watching, and I hope that you can subscribe and like, and please leave some comments. I appreciate you watching the videos all the way through. That helps me with my points with YouTube. And I'm glad you could join me going to Washington, because even though it's a special place in my heart, my home state, it is a beautiful state, and it has so much to offer. And we only have 4.5 states left in our 50 U.S. states, 1 a week. I say half because I had to split California in half, and I have to do the other half of it. But it is fun, and I have a new adventure that is called Where in the World is Laura This Week? So join me on that one, because that one is interactive, and you have to guess and leave comments so that I can see who knows where I'm at. So thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you next week. Oh, and I almost forgot one more travel tip. Don't forget that the Seattle Rain Festival runs from January 1st to December 31st. So get out there, don't miss it. I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining. Bye.